Hey everyone, welcome back. We're going to be diving into some fascinating stuff today um, about Donald Trump's tax plan,
Yes.
specifically what he's proposing for capital gains. When it comes to Bitcoin and tokens made in the U.S., this is something that could really shake things up. In the crypto world and with the 2024 election just around the corner, it's definitely a hot topic. This article from Kitco News really caught my eye. It's titled, Trump Doubles Down on Crypto, Proposes No Capital Gains Tax for Bitcoin and U.S.-Made Tokens. And it was published just a couple of weeks before the election on October 30th.
Yeah, I mean, you got to wonder about the timing, right? It seems pretty strategic, especially with so much interest in cryptocurrency these days, particularly from younger voters. But putting the political angle aside for a second, this policy proposal brings up some really interesting questions.
Absolutely. The author of the article, Jordan Finneseth, is their crypto market reporter.
hmm
And I thought it was super interesting that he has a background in psychology. I think that's really relevant here because understanding human behavior is key when you're talking about any market, but especially one as volatile as crypto. So let's break this down. Trump is saying no capital gains tax on Bitcoin and tokens created in the U.S.
Yeah.
What does that even mean for someone who might be new to investing?
Well, right now, if you make a profit from selling an asset, like stocks or even crypto, you usually owe taxes on that profit, and that's what we call capital gains tax. Now, the specific rates can get a bit complicated. It depends on how long you've held the asset and your income bracket. But the main idea is the government gets a cut of your profits. So what Trump is suggesting is to basically get rid of that tax altogether for Bitcoin and any tokens made in the U.S.
So no more taxes on your crypto gains if you're investing in Bitcoin
Mm.
or U.S.-based projects. That sounds like a pretty big deal for investors.
It could be. Imagine the U.S. becoming like a haven for crypto investment. Investors from all over the world pouring their money into Bitcoin and U.S.-based projects because they wouldn't have to worry about capital gains tax.
Okay, so you're saying the U.S. could become the hottest spot for crypto. But would that actually benefit the average person? Like, what would that kind of influx of investment mean for the U.S. economy
Yeah.
and for everyday people?
That's where it gets really interesting. The potential benefits are pretty big. I mean,
Yeah.
more investment could fuel a boom in the U.S. crypto sector, leading to more innovation, new businesses, job creation. It's like, think about the early internet boom. This could be crypto's moment.
Whoa, that's a fascinating comparison. So are we talking about like a potential economic revolution fueled by crypto? I mean, it sounds almost too good to be true. Are there any downsides we should be considering here?
Well, of course, anytime you have a major policy shift, there are potential downsides. Some people are saying that. Removing capital gains tax completely could lead to some instability in the market. They argue that without that tax as like a regulatory mechanism, the market might become more vulnerable to manipulation, especially by larger players. And that could create an uneven playing field.
So you're saying it could become a bit like the Wild West. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Unregulated markets can be pretty unpredictable. What about the impact on global markets? If the U.S. becomes this crypto haven, how would other countries react?
That's a really important question. Some experts think other countries might feel pressure to follow suit and create a more favorable global regulatory environment for crypto. But there are also concerns that it could actually lead to a more fragmented global market, with each country adopting very different approaches to crypto regulation.
Okay, so there are definitely pros and cons to think about here. But let's get back to the potential impact on the average investor. If this policy actually went into effect, how would it change your investment strategy? Would you be more likely to invest in Bitcoin or U.S.-based tokens?
That's a great question, and it's one that every investor is going to have to grapple with.
And it's not just individual investors, right?
Yeah.
This policy could have ripple effects throughout the whole economy. So let's dive into that a bit deeper.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this policy could impact everything from government revenue and spending to global trade, even national security. It's all connected.
Okay, hold on. How could one country's tax policy on crypto
Hmm.
possibly affect something like national security? That seems like a pretty big leap.
It might sound a bit far-fetched at first, but think about it from a geopolitical perspective. If the U.S. becomes like the dominant force in the crypto world, it gains a lot of leverage on the global stage. Control over a major financial system has always been a source of power, and crypto could very well be the next frontier.
Oh, I see what you mean. It's kind of like a digital arms race. Yeah. With countries competing to control this new tech.
That's a great analogy. And the stakes are incredibly high. The country that sets the standards and controls the infrastructure for crypto could have a massive advantage in shaping the future, not just of finance, but of technology in general.
So it's not just about making money off Bitcoin. It's about potentially reshaping the balance of power globally. That's pretty mind-blowing. But let's switch gears for a moment. And talk about some of the downsides we haven't touched on yet. You mentioned market manipulation. But what about the potential for this policy to widen the gap between the wealthy and everyone else?
That's definitely a valid concern. I mean, even now, cryptocurrency is often seen as an investment for the rich. If this policy makes crypto even more profitable, it's possible that it could make those inequalities even worse. The people who can afford to invest large amounts of money would benefit the most, potentially leaving those with fewer resources even further behind.
That's a sobering thought. It's so important to consider the social and economic consequences of any policy, especially one that could have such widespread impacts.
Exactly. And we also can't ignore the potential impact on government revenue. Capital gains tax, as it stands, is a major source of funding for all kinds of government programs and services. Getting rid of it for crypto could create a huge budget shortfall, and that could lead to cuts in essential services or an increase in other taxes.
Was a balancing act, trying to stimulate innovation and economic growth,
Yeah.
while also making sure things are fair and that there's stability and responsible governance. That's a lot to juggle.
It really is. And it just highlights the need for careful and informed policymaking in this rapidly changing space. We have to consider not just the potential benefits, but also the risks and the unintended consequences.
And this is why it's so crucial for everyone, no matter what their political views are or their financial situation, to stay informed and engaged in these conversations. The future of finance is being shaped right now, and it's up to all of us to understand what's at stake and to participate in the decision-making process.
I couldn't agree more. We need to go beyond the hype and the sound bites and really dig into the complexities of this issue. What are the potential benefits? What are the risks? Who stands to gain? And who might lose out? These are the questions we should all be asking ourselves as we try to navigate this uncharted territory.
And speaking of uncharted territory, we've talked a lot about the potential economic and geopolitical implications of this policy. But what about the impact on the crypto industry itself? Could this be like a catalyst for a whole new wave of innovation and development?
It definitely has the potential to be. Just imagine. The U.S. becomes a global hub for crypto innovation, attracting the top minds from all over the world.
Okay, I'm listening. Paint me a picture.
Yeah.
What would that look like? What kind of innovations are we talking about?
Well, we could see a huge surge in the development of new blockchain technologies, decentralized applications, crypto-based financial products and services, removing the capital gains tax. Could really incentivize entrepreneurs and investors to take more risks. And that could lead to breakthroughs in areas like artificial intelligence, data security, even supply chain management.
Wow, it's almost like opening up this Pandora's box of technological progress. But wouldn't that kind of rapid innovation also create new challenges? What about security breaches, scams, and all the other risks that come with a new and untested technology?
You're absolutely right. Rapid innovation often comes with its own set of challenges. I mean, we've already seen examples of hacks and scams and market manipulation in the crypto world. So as the industry grows and evolves, it's going to be crucial to develop robust security measures, regulatory frameworks, and consumer protection mechanisms to try to mitigate those risks.
So it's that delicate balancing act again, fostering innovation while ensuring security and stability. I guess that's the theme of our conversation today.
It really is.
Yeah.
And I think it's a theme that's going to continue to be at the forefront of the crypto conversation for many years to come.
This has been an incredibly insightful discussion. I'm really starting to understand the scope of the potential impact this policy could have, both positive and negative. But before we wrap things up, I want to go back to something you mentioned earlier, the potential for the U.S. to become a global leader in the crypto space. What are your thoughts on that? Is that a realistic possibility? And what role could the U.S. play in shaping the future of this technology?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? The U.S. definitely has the potential to be a major player in the crypto world.
Okay, so let's explore that a little bit.
Yeah.
What are the key things that will determine whether the U.S. becomes a leader in crypto or gets left behind?
Well, one of the most important factors is regulation. I mean, right now, the U.S. regulatory landscape for crypto is pretty complicated, and some would even say unclear, and that uncertainty makes it tough for businesses to really operate and innovate. So if the U.S. wants to be a front runner in the crypto world, it needs to establish a clear, consistent, and predictable regulatory framework, one that encourages innovation but also protects consumers and investors.
Right, so it's all about finding that balance between promoting growth and preventing things from getting out of control.
Exactly. Another crucial factor is investment. The U.S. already has a strong venture capital ecosystem, but we need to see more investment specifically focused on crypto and blockchain technology. That means not just funding startups, but also supporting research and development and fostering collaboration between universities, industry, and the government.
So we're talking about a pretty significant shift in mindset.
Yeah.
Are there any other countries doing this well that the U.S. could learn from?
Definitely, there are some interesting models emerging globally. Countries like Switzerland, Singapore, and Malta have been really proactive in creating regulatory environments that are favorable to crypto, and they're seeing a lot of growth in their crypto sectors because of it.
So it's like a global competition, then everyone's trying to position themselves to take advantage of this technology's potential. But let's bring it back to the U.S. for a second. If Trump's proposal were to actually go through and the U.S. became this global crypto hub, what would that mean for the average American? Would they see any real benefits?
That's a great question, and it's still early to say for sure, but the potential benefits are substantial. Like I mentioned earlier, increased investment in the crypto sector could lead to more jobs and economic growth. We could also see the development of all sorts of new and innovative products and services, things that could make our lives easier, more efficient, and even more secure.
So potentially a whole new wave of technological advancements that could make things better for everyone. That's pretty exciting to think about.
It is, but it's important to keep in mind that this is still a very new technology and there are risks involved. It's really crucial for people to educate themselves about crypto, understand both the risks and the potential rewards, and make sure they're investing responsibly.
Absolutely. That's such an important point. It's easy to get swept up in all the hype, but you have to approach this with a clear head and a healthy dose of skepticism. But at the same time, it's a really exciting time to be paying attention to this space. Who knows what the future holds?
Exactly. We're witnessing the birth of a new technology that has the potential to completely transform so many aspects of our lives. It's a time of great uncertainty, but also a time of incredible opportunity.
And that's what makes these deep dives so fascinating.
Hmm.
We've covered so much ground today, from the potential economic and geopolitical implications of Trump's crypto tax proposal to the broader question of the U.S.'s role in shaping the future of this emerging technology. What are your final thoughts for our listeners? What key takeaways should they keep in mind?
I think the most important takeaway is that we're at a critical juncture. The decisions we make today, both as individuals and as a society, are going to have a huge impact on the future of crypto and its role in our lives. It's so important for everyone to stay informed, engage in these conversations, and really think critically about the potential benefits and risks of this powerful technology.
That's a great way to put it. And to everyone listening, we encourage you to keep exploring this topic, keep asking questions, and form your own opinions. The crypto world is constantly changing, and it's a journey that's best navigated with an open mind and a desire to learn. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and until next time, keep exploring us.